Welcome to part 2 of our box and whisker plot video series. Now in the last example we did graph a box plot. One thing that we do have to take into consideration when we're making our box plots though is that we always do need to check for outliers when we're constructing our box plot. If we have any outliers that we find, we do have to just tweak things a little bit differently when we make our box and whisker plot. Remember to check for outliers. We went through this process in video 1 from this unit. But just to review, our steps are to first find the interquartile range. We do that by taking Q3 minus Q1. We then take what we get for the interquartile range and we multiply that by 1.5. Whatever we get in that step, we subtract it from the first quartile, Q1, and any numbers lower than that are going to be outliers. Then we take the same number that we got in step 2 and we add it to Q3. Any numbers higher than that are going to be outliers as well. So if we do find an outlier, we do not use this as our minimum or our maximum. Instead what we do is go to the next closest number that is not our outlier. So instead of putting a point at that minimum or maximum that is an outlier, we are going to actually instead place an asterisk, which is this little symbol that looks like a little star, above the number on the number line. And then we would construct the box and whisker plot as normal with the next number in sequence, whether it be the next smallest number or the next biggest number. So let's go ahead and take a look at an example where we are going to have to deal with an outlier. We are constructing a box and whisker plot for the following set of data. Remember, what we always want to do when we're dealing with a data set is put it in order from least to greatest. So I'm going to do that here. I'm going to see that I have 39, 39, 40, 43, 44, 47, 51, 51, 53, 56, and 85. So that gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 numbers, which is going to match up here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 numbers. Alright, so we do want to go ahead and start out with our 5-number summary. So before we check, I am going to go ahead and just list what my minimum and my maximum are so we can compare that to what we get here in a minute. Right now it looks like our minimum is going to be 39 and our maximum is going to be 85. Again, that's our lowest number and our highest number. Now we want to go ahead and find the median. So I'm going to cross out 1 on each side until I get to the middle. 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5. I'm going to find that this time I have a true median in the middle here at 47. So that's going to be my Q2. Then I want to mark on either side. I need to find my Q1 and my Q3. So I'll do the same thing with my lower half of data. I'll mark 1 on the left, 1 on the right, 1 on the left, 1 on the right. And I'm going to see that my Q1 is going to be 40. And then I do the same thing with my upper quartile. Mark here, mark here. Mark on the left, mark on the right. And I'm going to see that my Q3 is going to be 53. Alright, this is going to be where I check for outliers. Remember, I'm going to take Q3 minus Q1 first, which is going to be 53 minus 40. I'm getting those numbers from up here. 53 minus 40 is going to be 13. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to scroll down a little bit here, is I'm going to take what I got here, and my scrolling is not quite catching up with me, so it's going to throw my box in a funny looking place there, so let me redraw that. I'm now going to take 1.5 times 13, which is going to give me 19.5. So what I now have to do is I have to take that 19.5 and I have to subtract it from Q1, so Q1 minus 19.5. Remember my Q1 from earlier was 40, so 40 minus 19.5, and that is going to give me 20.5. So I want to check to see if I have any numbers that are below this value. My lowest number is 39, so that is not going to be an outlier. But now I have to check the top of the sequence. So I'm going to do Q3 plus 19.5. And Q3, remember, was 53. So I'm going to do 53 plus 19.5. And that is going to give us 74.5. Sorry, that's actually 72.5. A little mental math error there. 72.5. So now we need to see if we have any numbers higher than that. We do. We have a number that is 85. So we know that that number there, let me get another color to illustrate that, is going to be our outlier. So when we go to plot this on the line, I'm going to put an asterisk there for that point. Now the first thing we have to do, and forgive this, it's really getting slow on my scrolling, not sure what's going on here, but it will catch up with us eventually. Alright, so I now need to label my scaling. Now remember, we said we don't always have to count by ones, so our data is a little bit more spread out this time, so I'm going to go ahead and count by fives. So I'm going to do 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, and 100. Alright, so let that catch up for just a second. Alright, we're going to go ahead and put our asterisk at the 85 because we know that that is going to be an outlier. It's going to be different from the rest of our box plot. And then we're going to go ahead and plot the rest of the points. So I'm going to plot 39, which is just a little bit before 40. I'm going to plot 40, which is actually right on 40. Imagine that. I have a point at 47, which is going to be between 45 and 50. I have a point at 53, which is going to be between 50 and 55. And then since 85 was my outlier, I'm going to go to the next biggest number, which is 56. So 56 is going to be just on the right of 55. And these are going to be the numbers that I connect with my box and whisker plot. So again, I'm going to make a box that goes from Q1 to Q3. I'm going to draw my line down the middle through my median, and I'm going to connect my whiskers. So everything else is going to be exactly the same. We end up with the same shape. The only difference is going to be that we have that asterisk marking our outlier. It would be the same way if we had an outlier on the bottom. Our just asterisk would be over here, and we go to the second smallest number to start our box plot. So that's the only thing different. Always make sure when you're making these box and whisker plots that you do take into account those outliers. Remember our test, and that should guide you through just fine. This wraps up part 2 of our 3-part video series for 6-4. We got just one more short video coming up. Please make sure that you stay tuned and check that video out as well, and we'll see you in that video.